A very good morning to all. In last video we studied testing of DC motors. I hope you gone through with that. We studied different types of testing in indirect method of testing as well as direct method of testing. In this video we study some numericals on testing of DC motors. I classified the numericals based on the various tests. So what we studied in last video. So we studied various tests on indirect method of DC motors. So that is Swinburne test, Hopkinson test, retardation test, or it is also called as running down test, and field test. So we'll study one by one. So in each case I have taken two numericals, so that we'll study now. So first we'll consider numericals on Swinburne testing of DC motor. So first numerical we'll consider that when running on no load, a 400 volt shunt motor takes 5 ampere current, armature resistance is 0.5 ohm and field resistance 200 ohm. Find the output of the motor and efficiency when running on full load and taking a current of 50 ampere. Also find the percentage change in speed from no load to full load. So Swinburne test, it is nothing but the motor which is under test, so that can be run under no load condition. So here some no load data is to be given, and go on load the motor with some specific current is given. For that specific current we need to calculate the output of the motor as well as the efficiency of the motor, and even we have to calculate the percentage change in speed from no load to full load. So solution, so the given data is to be written, that is supply voltage is given, that is 400 volt, and the line current of the motor 5 ampere. This is under no load condition. And armature resistance as 0.5 ohm, shunt field resistance is 200 ohm. So we need to calculate the output of the motor and efficiency of the motor at full load current of 50 ampere, and even we need to calculate a percentage change in the speed. So now first point, so that is no load input power is to be calculated. The power, it is the product of voltage and current. So no load input power can be calculated as the product of the supply voltage and the current, that is the no load current. So this product, it gives 2000 watt is the no load input power. Now the shunt field winding current is to be calculated as the ratio of supply voltage to the shunt field winding resistance, that is 400 divided by 200, then this is 2 ampere. Then no load armature current is to be calculated by the using the current equation of the motor, that is Ia naught is equals to IL minus ISH. So IL is 5 ampere, so this is given data. So ISH we calculated as shunt field winding current as a 2 ampere. Then the no load armature current we can obtain it as a 3 ampere. So next case we need to calculate no load armature copper loss. Copper loss can be calculated as the square of the current into its specific resistance. So here the Ia naught square into Ra, that Ia naught is already calculated, that is 3 square into 0.5. 0.45 is given, that armature resistance. Then we'll get the no load armature copper loss as a 4.5 watt. Then constant loss is to be calculated as the difference between the input power and armature copper loss. Input power is 2000 watt and armature copper loss is 4.5 watt. Then we'll get the constant loss as a 1995.5 watt. This is under no load condition, that is the line current of 5 ampere. So when the line current is 50 ampere, in that case, so what might be the armature current? Armature current is the difference of line current and shunt field winding current. So line current is 50 minus shunt field winding current is calculated above, that is 2 ampere. Then we'll get the armature current under full load condition is 48 ampere. For this specific current, we need to calculate the output of the motor as well as the efficiency. Then armature copper loss is given as Ia square into Ra. So that is 48 square into 0.5, we'll get 1152 watt. Then total loss on full load of the motor can be calculated as it is the sum of the armature copper loss and constant loss. Then armature copper loss is calculated as above, that is 1152 watt. Constant loss is also calculated as above, that is 1995.5. So the total loss on full load of the motor is given as 3147.5 watt. So this is the total loss what we calculated. So now the input power is calculated as, that is the product of again supply voltage and the full load current, that is 50 ampere. So then we'll get the input power as a 2000 watt. Then output power as the the difference between input and the total losses, because we know the input is the sum of output and the total loss. Then in that equation we'll just separate the output, we'll get input minus total losses. We calculated the input as above, and even the total losses also we calculated. So take the difference in between that, we'll get the output as a 16.8 kilowatt. Then we'll calculate the full load efficiency. So that is the ratio of output power to the input power. Output power as calculated above as, that is 16,852.5 divided by 20,000. Then we'll get the full load efficiency of 84.26%. Then we need to calculate one more point, that the percentage change in the no load to full load speed, that we need to calculate. So before that we need to calculate the back EMF in the both the case, that is the back EMF in the no load condition of the motor and back EMF in the full load condition of the motor. So first let me calculate the EB1 is the back EMF in case of the no load condition of the motor. So this can be calculated by using the equation EB1 is equals to V minus Ia naught into Ra. So this is nothing but the voltage equation, that is the total voltage of the motor. So is the sum of the all the voltage drops. So here the shunt motor is given. So since we have taken the only the voltage drop across the armature and the back EMF. So that in no load condition the back EMF is calculated as EB1 is equals to 400 minus 3 into 0.5, it is 398.5 volt. Then similarly the back EMF in case of the full load condition, so that is calculated as 376 volt. You know, the speed and back EMF both are directly proportional to each other. Then make that relation if the flux phi is maintained as a constant. So then you just write this relation for the both the condition, that is no load as well as the full load condition. That is N1 is proportional to EB1, N1 is equals to K into EB1, call this as equation number 1. N2 is proportional to EB2, N2 is equals to K into EB2, call this as equation number 2. Then take this ratio, that is no load to full load. So that ratio is to be considered, that is N1 divided by N2 is equals to EB1 divided by EB2. Then substitute the value of EB1 and EB2 that we calculated above. So the 398.5 divided by 376. Then N1 can be written as, this is the change in the speed from no load to full load. So that is N1 minus N2. I need to consider, that is N1 minus N2 divided by N2, that is equals to 398.5 minus 376 divided by 376. If you take the difference between no load to full load speed, that is we'll get 22.5 divided by 376. Then finally we'll get the percentage change in the speed from no load to full load. So that is 5.98%. This is one example on the Swinburne test on DC motor. You just don't listen this video blankly. You just take one notebook and pen, just go on writing. So then only you can get the idea about the numericals. So let me consider one more example, that is on the Swinburne test. That is the no load test of a 44.76 kilowatt 220 volt DC shunt motor gave the following figures: input current as 13.25 ampere, field current as 2.55 ampere, resistance of armature at 75 degrees Celsius as 0.032 ohm, and brush drop is 2 volt. Estimate the full load current and efficiency. Now first you write down the given data. So that is line current is given, that is 13.25 ampere. Then shunt field winding current is given 2.55 ampere. Then armature resistance at 75 degrees Celsius is given, that is 0.032 ohm. Then brush voltage is also given, that is 2 volt. So then we need to calculate the full load current, IFL, and full load efficiency, that is eta FL. So first we'll consider the no load condition. So in no load condition, so the constant losses is to be calculated. Then how to calculate the constant loss? First we'll consider the point that no load input. So this is the product of the supply voltage and the line current. So supply voltage is 220 volt, then line current is 13.25 ampere. Then we'll get the no load input as a 2915 watt. And similarly the armature current can be calculated as, it is the difference between the line current and the shunt field winding current. Then shunt field winding current is given, that is 2.55. Then get the difference between line current and shunt field winding current. We will get the armature current as a 10.7 ampere. Then armature copper loss can be calculated by using the formula Ia naught square into Ra. So Ia naught is calculated above, so that is, you take that square into armature resistance is given 0.032, then take this product, will get the armature copper loss as a 3.6 watt. And even the brush drop is given. So you know the there are two contacts. So brush drop at one contact is given, that is 10.7 is the armature current. So there are two terminal of the brush, since it is multiplied as a 2 into 10.7 is the brush drop, then we'll get 21.4 watt. Then variable loss can be calculated as the sum of loss due to brush and armature copper loss. So that is loss due to brush as calculated above, that is 21.4 plus 3.6 is the armature copper loss. Then we'll get the variable loss as a 25 watt. Then constant loss can be calculated as the difference between the input power to the variable loss. So if you take this difference, you will get the constant loss as a what? 2890 watt. Now you consider the full load condition. So in full load condition, if Ia is the full load current, armature current is to be considered, then full load motor input is, that is IFL is equals to the Ia plus 2.55 ampere. You know, here the full load current is not given, that is full load armature current is not given. So here we assume that the full load armature current as a I suffix A. So since the full load current can be written as, this is the sum of the full load armature current and shunt field winding current. Shunt field winding current is 2.55 ampere. So then we'll get the full load current as a Ia plus 2.55 ampere. Then full load motor power input is calculated as the product of voltage into full load motor input of the current, that is 220 into Ia plus 2.55 watt. Then we know that the full load motor input as a output plus the full load copper, that is the output and the copper loss and the constant loss and the brush loss. Then the output that we calculated, that is output it is given, that is 44,760 plus that is copper loss, we can calculate it as a 0.032 into Ia square. So then constant loss we calculated 2890 plus brush drop, that is 2 terminal of the brush, that is 2 times Ia. Then if you solve this equation, you will get the one quadratic equation, that is 0.032 Ia square minus 218 Ia plus 47,089, that is equals to 0. Then if you solve this equation for Ia, so using the Sridhar's formula, then you will get the armature current as 223.43 ampere. Actually you will get the two roots here. So one root is that 6589 ampere. So this is very much greater than the armature current of the motor. So since we'll consider the armature current of the motor as a 223.43 ampere. So since armature current 223.5 ampere is considered, the line input current is I is equals to Ia plus ISH. So that is equals to 223.5 plus 2.55, then we'll get the line input current as a 226 ampere. Then full load input power is calculated as the product of voltage into the line current. So that is equals to 220 into 226, then we'll get the full load input power as a 49,720 watt. Then full load efficiency can be calculated as the ratio of output power to the input power. Output power is given, that is 44,760, and input power that we calculated above, that is 49,720, then we will get the full load efficiency as a 90%. So this is the numerical on the Swinburne test. Then similarly we'll consider the numerical on Hopkinson's test. So let me consider the numerical on Hopkinson test. So you know the Hopkinson test can be carried out by considering the two machines. So both the machines are coupled each other. So one act as a motor, another act as a water generator. Just keep it in your mind, that we discussed in the last video. So let us consider an example of Hopkinson test. In a Hopkinson test on 220 volt 100 kilowatt generators, the circulating current is equal to full load current, and in addition 90 ampere are taken from the supply. Obtain the efficiency of each machine. So first you write down the given data, that is V is equals to 220 volt supply voltage, then output power is given, that is 100 kilowatt, then efficiency we need to calculate, then output current of the generator is to be calculated as I1 is equals to P out divided by B. P out is given, that 1 lakh watt divided by 220 volt is the supply voltage. Then output current of the generator is 454.54 ampere. Then the input current of the motor is given, that is 90 ampere. So assuming equal efficiency of the machine, if we assume the efficiency of the machines are equal, then by this formula, that is eta is equals to square root of I1 divided by I1 plus I2, we can calculate the efficiency of that entire machine. So that we can get here 91.4%. So this formula, that is eta is equals to square root of I1 divided by I1 plus I2. So this discussed in the last video. So during the Hopkinson test of the DC motor, DC machine, so that there we discussed this equation, that is eta is equals to square root of I1 divided by I1 plus I2. Then let me consider one more example on Hopkinson test. That is the Hopkinson test on two similar shunt machines gave the following full load data. That is line voltage is 110 volt, field current are 3 ampere and 3.5 ampere. Then line current is 48 ampere. Armature resistance of each is 0.035 ohm. Motor armature current is 230 ampere. Calculate the efficiency of each machine assuming brush drop of 1 volt per brush. Now first write down the given data. So the line voltage is given, that is 110 volt. Similarly, the line current is also given 48 ampere. If we consider the motor armature current is also given, that is 230 ampere. Then shunt field winding current is also given, that is 3 ampere. So then generator shunt field winding current is also given, so that is 3.5 ampere. Then armature resistance of the motor is given 0.035 ohm. Similarly, the armature resistance of the generator is also given, that 0.035 ohm. Now let us consider the motor. So motor armature copper loss can be calculated as Ia square into Ra. So that is 230 square into 0.035, that we can get armature copper loss as a 1851 watt. Then brush loss is, so two machine is to be considered, and that is two terminal, that is 2 times the Ia armature current, that is we can get the brush loss as 460 watt. Now let me consider the total armature copper loss as the armature copper loss what we calculated before, that is 1851, and the brush loss 460. Take these two sum, will get the total armature copper loss as a 2312 watt. Then shunt copper loss, we can calculate it as the product of the line voltage and the shunt field winding current. The line voltage is given 110 volt, and the shunt field winding current is also given, that 3 ampere. Then this product it gives 330 watt. Then total copper loss is the sum of this total armature copper loss and shunt field winding copper loss. So get the value of the total copper loss as 2642 watt. Then let us consider the generator. Generator armature current as calculated as, this is the sum of the motor armature current and motor shunt field winding current minus the line current plus generator shunt field winding current. You know the motor armature current as a 230, then motor shunt field winding current as a 3 ampere, then the line current is 48 ampere. This is the generator, and the generator shunt field winding current is a 3.5 ampere. Then generator armature current is 188.5 ampere. Then armature copper loss is calculated as Ia square into RSH, that is Ia square. So there we can consider that 188.5 square into 0.035, then we'll get the armature copper loss as a 1244 watt. Then brush copper loss is calculated as 2 times Ia, because 2 terminal, 188.5 into 2 will get 377 watt. Then total armature copper loss is the sum of the brush loss and the armature copper loss that we calculated above. Then we'll take these two sum, will get the armature copper loss as a 1621 watt. Then shunt copper loss is calculated as the product of the line voltage and the shunt field winding current. Line voltage at 110 volt and shunt field winding current is 3.5 ampere. Then we'll get the shunt field winding copper loss as a 385 watt. Then total copper loss is the total armature copper loss and shunt field winding copper loss, so that we calculated in above equation. Then we'll get the total copper loss as a 2006 watt. Then for total we can consider, that is the motor generator set. So for the motor generator set, total armature and shunt copper loss is calculated as the sum of the total copper loss of the motor and the sum of the total copper loss of the generator. The total copper loss of the motor as calculated as 2642 watt, and the total copper loss for the generator as a 2006 watt. Then we'll get the total armature and shunt copper loss of the motor generator set as a 4648 watt. Then total load input power is calculated as the product of supply voltage and the line current, that is 110 into 48, then we'll get 5280 watt. Then stray loss can be calculated as the total power input minus total armature and shunt copper loss, then we'll get the stray loss as a 632 watt. Then stray loss, this is the total stray loss, then stray loss per machine is equal, that is 632 divided by 2 is taken, that is 316 watt. Then finally the motor efficiency can be calculated. So before calculating the motor efficiency, we must know the losses, total losses, and the input power, output power, then we can calculate the motor efficiency. Now here we can calculate first armature copper loss plus brush drop loss, that is 2312, then shunt field winding copper loss as a 330 watt, stray losses as calculated above, that is 316 watt. Then total loss, just add these all losses, that is 2312 is the armature copper plus brush drop loss, then 330 watt is the shunt field winding copper loss, then 316 watt is the stray loss, then we'll get the total loss as a 2958 watt. Then motor input is calculated as the product of the supply voltage and the line current of the motor, then we'll get the motor input as a 25,630 watt. Then motor output is calculated as the motor input minus total losses. Total losses is calculated as 2958 watt. Then motor input is calculated as above, that is 25,630. Then we'll get the motor output as a 22,672 watt. Then efficiency of the motor is the ratio of the motor output to the motor input. Motor output is calculated as 22,672 watt. Then motor input is 25,630. Then we'll get the efficiency of the motor as 88.8%. Similarly, we can calculate the generator efficiency. You know the generator input as the motor output, that is the 22,672 watt. Generator output can be calculated as the product of supply voltage and the line current of the generator, that is 110 into 185 ampere, that we can get the generator output as a 20,350 watt. Then the efficiency of the generator can be calculated as the ratio of the generator output to the generator input, then we'll get the efficiency of the generator as 89.4%. So this is about the numericals on the Hopkinson test of the motor. Now let me move towards the retardation test, or it is also called as the running down test. So you know, in retardation test, so here we consider a single motor, that is the DC shunt motor, which is separately excited DC shunt motor. So you know how the test will be carried out. So let me consider an example on retardation test or running down test. That is, a retardation test is made on a separately excited DC machine as a motor. The induced voltage falls from 240 volt to 225 volt in 25 seconds on opening the armature circuit and 6 seconds on suddenly changing the armature connection from supply to the load resistance, taking 10 ampere average. Find the efficiency of the machine when running as a motor and taking a current of 25 ampere on a supply of 250 volt. The resistance of its armature is 0.4 ohm and that of its field winding is 250 ohm. Now a motor is given here. So for that motor, the armature winding voltage is taken out, that is there will be a drop in the voltage. So initially it was 240 volt, and once the voltage between the armature is taken out, then the voltage it brings to 225 volt. That means there is a drop in the voltage from 240 volt to 225 volt, that too in 25 seconds. So so first you just write down the given data, that armature that is armature current, that is average value is given, that is 10 ampere. Then the time taken to reduce the voltage, that is T T1 is the 25 second, then T2, that is the time taken for the suddenly change in the connection from supply to the load, so that is 6 second. Then stray loss is to be considered as a, that is W. Then armature resistance is also given, that is 0.4 ohm. That is shunt field winding resistance is also given, 250 ohm. Then back EMF is given, that is initially first case, that is 240 volt under normal condition. So once the supply is taken, in that case the back EMF is given, that is 225 volt. The average voltage across the load, it is nothing but the average between the back EMF of the initial condition to the back EMF under the supply is taken out, that is the EB1 plus EB2 divided by 2. Then we'll get the average voltage across the load as a 232.5 volt. Then the power absorbed by the motor, that is nothing but the W dash. So this is the product of the average back EMF and the average current, that is 232.5 into 10. We'll get the power absorbed by the motor, 2325 watt. We know that this equation, this relation, so this we have seen in the last video, that is during the testing of the retardation, during the retardation test on the DC motor, that is W divided by W dash is equals to T2 divided by T1 minus T2. W is the stray loss that we have to calculate. W dash is the power absorbed by the motor, and T1 and T2 be the what? The change in the that is supply to the what load connection, and T1 be the what? The drop in the back EMF from the normal condition to the supply is taken out, that is 25 second. Then substitute the value of W dash, T2 and T1, will get the stray loss as a 34.2 watt. Then input current is given, that is the 25 ampere. Then shunt field winding resistance, we have to calculate V divided by shunt field winding resistance. Shunt field winding resistance is given 250 ohm. Then we'll get the shunt field winding current as a 1 ampere. Then we need to calculate the armature current. This is the difference between the line current and the shunt field winding current. Then we'll get the armature current as a 24 ampere. Then armature copper loss is calculated as the Ia square into Ra. Then Ia be the armature current that we calculated above, and Ra be the armature resistance that is given, that 0.4 ohm. Then we'll get the armature copper loss as a 230.4 watt. Then shunt field winding copper loss is calculated as ISH square into RSH. So that is nothing but so 1 square into 250, that is shunt field winding resistance is given. Then we'll get the shunt field winding the copper loss as a 250 watt. Then total losses are the sum of the armature copper loss and shunt field winding copper loss and the stray loss. Armature copper loss is calculated above, that is 230 volt. Then shunt field winding copper loss is calculated above, that is 250 volt, and even stray loss is also calculated as 734.2. will get the total loss as a 1215 watt. Then input power can be calculated as the product of voltage into line current. Then we'll get this input power as a 6250 watt. Then output power is calculated as the difference between the input power to the total losses, that we can get at as a 5035. Then finally we'll get the efficiency of the motor as the ratio of output power to the input power. Then we'll get the efficiency of the motor as 80.6%. So this is a one example on retardation test on DC motor. Similarly, we can consider the one more test, that one more numerical on retardation test on DC motor. That is, a retardation test is carried out on a 1000 rpm DC machine. The time taken for the speed to fall from 1030 rpm to 970 rpm is, first case 36 seconds with no excitation, second case 15 seconds with full excitation, and third case 9 seconds with full excitation, and the armature supplying an extra load of 10 ampere and at 219 volt. So first we need to calculate the moment of inertia of the armature in kg meter square. Iron losses we need to calculate. The mechanical losses at the mean speed of 1000 rpm we need to calculate. Now first write down the given data. The speed of the machine is given, that is 1000 rpm. Then the change in the speed is also given, that is 1030 to 970. So this becomes 60 rpm. So here some points is to be noted, that is, first point is when armature slow down, when no excitation, its kinetic energy is used to overcome mechanical losses only, because due to the absence of flux there is no iron loss. So second point is that with excitation, kinetic energy is used to supply the mechanical and iron losses, collectively known as stray loss. So at the excitation case, you need to calculate it as it's a stray loss. So without that excitation, so we need to calculate it as a what? There is no iron loss. So that means what? There is only mechanical losses will be there. So if I is taken in kg meter square unit, then rate of loss of energy is in watts. So first we need to calculate, first point is given that the 36 second with no excitation. So your 36 second with no excitation, it means that there is no iron loss, there we can consider only the mechanical losses only. So since the mechanical losses can be calculated by using the equation, that is Wm is equals to 2 pi divided by 60 its whole square In dn divided by dt. So this formula we discussed in the last video. So that is retardation test on the DC motor. So then dn is given 1030 minus 970, that is 60 rpm. dt is also given, that is 36 second. This is the in first case, no excitation. Then speed is also given, that is 1000 rpm. So then substitute the value, that is Wm is equals to 2 pi divided by 60 square, In keep as it is, that is 60 divided by 36, case number 1. So here point B is given, that 15 seconds with full excitation. So if the 15 seconds with full excitation case, we need to calculate the stray loss only. So the same formula can be used again. The stray loss, for the stray loss, that is 2 pi divided by 60 whole square, that is In 60 divided by, here the change in the time is given, that is 15 seconds. So 15 seconds is to be substituted here. Then call these two equation, that is equation number 1, that is Wm, that is the mechanical loss. Equation number 2 is the W suffix s, that is the stray loss. Also we know that this equation, that is Ws is equals to W dash into T2 divided by T1 minus T2. W dash itself is the power absorbed, that we can calculate as Eb into Ia. So Eb is given, that is 219, into Ia is also given, that is 2190 watt is the power absorbed. Then stray loss can be calculated as 2190 into, that is T2. In this case T2 is the 9 second with full excitation and the armature supplying the extra load current of 10 ampere at 219 volt. Third point is to be considered. So 9 second is the T2 here. Then again T1 with the 15 second. Then we'll get the stray loss as the 3285 watt. Call this as equation number 3. Put equation 3 in equation number 2. That means here we calculated the stray loss in equation number 3. So substitute that in equation number 2 in place of stray loss. Then we'll get the inertia, that is I is equals to 75 kg meter square. Then dividing equation number 1 by equation number 2, that is Wm divided by Ws is equals to 15 divided by 36 we can get. So divide equation number 1 by equation number 2. Then Wm is equals to Ws into 15 divided by 36. Then Ws is calculated above, that is 3285 into 15 divided by 36. Then we'll get the Wm 1369 watt. Then iron losses can be calculated as the difference between the stray loss and the mechanical loss. Stray loss is calculated as 3285. Then mechanical loss as calculated above, that is 1369. Then we'll get the iron loss as the 1916 watt. Now this is about the second numerical on that retardation test on DC motor. Now let me move towards the one more test, that is the field test, numerical on the field test. So in case of field test here, DC series motor is to be considered. So during the field test, so we consider the DC series motor as well as the DC series generator. So the coupling between the DC series motor and DC series generator is to be considered. So DC series generator, it is coupled with the DC series motor. DC series generator, it has the separately excited series generator. Then let me consider an example in that field test on DC series machine. So that is a test on two coupled similar motors with their field constant connected in series gave the following results when one machine acted as a motor and the other acted as a generator. Now motor data is given, that is armature current of the motor, that is 56 ampere, armature voltage of the motor, that is 590 volt, voltage drop across the field winding of the motor for 40 volt. Then generator is to be considered, armature current of the generator is 44 ampere, armature voltage of the generator is 400 volt, field voltage drop of the generator is 40 volt, resistance of each armature, that is resistance of the armature of the motor is 0.3 ohm and resistance of the armature of the generator is also 0.3 ohm. That means both armature resistance is same. Then calculate the efficiency of motor and generator at this load. Solution: write down the given data. For motor, the armature current is given, note down that 56 ampere. Then armature voltage drop is given, that is 590 volt. Then series field winding voltage drop is given, that is 40 volt. Then armature resistance is also given, that is 0.3 ohm. For generator, given data write down, the armature current is given 44 ampere, armature voltage drop is given 400 volt, series field winding voltage drop is given 40 volt, and similarly the armature resistance is given 0.3 ohm. Then we need to calculate the efficiency of the motor as well as the efficiency of the generator. So first we have to calculate the total input power, that is the product of voltage into current. So this is the series motor. So there will be a voltage drop across the armature winding and the voltage drop across the series field winding. Combination of that two is to be taken, then we'll get the total voltage drop of the motor. So that is multiplied with the armature current, then we'll get the total input power, that is 335,280 watt. Then output power is the product of armature voltage and armature current, that is 400 into 44, then we'll get the output power as a 17,600 watt. Then total losses in two machine is the difference between the total input power to the total output power, so that we can get 17,680 watt. Then series field winding resistance is calculated as VSC divided by IA. So here IA is taken because this is the series machine. In case of series machine, the armature current is same as that of what series field winding current. So since we considered it as a series field winding current as an equals to armature winding current, that is 56 ampere. Then this ratio, it gives the series field winding resistance 0.714 ohm. Then total copper loss is calculated as the using this equation, that is the sum of the both the resistances, that is the armature resistance and the series field winding resistance. So armature resistance, that is RAM, this is the motor armature resistance, and 2 times series field winding resistance. Series field winding resistance, why you have taken the 2 times here? Because the generator series field winding and the motor field winding both are connected in series. Since we have taken the 2 times RSC, then IAMB, the armature winding current of the motor, that is IAM square is to be taken, plus IAG square into RSEG. This is the shunt field winding, that copper loss. So then we can calculate it, we'll get the total copper loss as the 6006 watt. Then stray loss of the entire set can be calculated as the difference between the total losses and the total copper loss. Total losses can be calculated in earlier, that is 17,680 minus 6,006, then we'll get the stray loss of the set is 11,674 watt. Then stray losses per machine, this is the total stray loss of the set, then the stray loss of the each machine is equals, since the stray losses per machine can be calculated as 11,674 divided by 2, so we'll get the 5,837 watt. Now let me consider the motor efficiency. So before calculating the motor efficiency, we must know the motor armature input. So this is the product of armature voltage and the armature current. So this is the 590 into 56, that is 33,440 watt. Then armature copper loss is to be calculated here, that is again the both the windings are in series, that is armature winding as well as the series field winding, that is, so these two resistances to be considered, that is the sum of RA plus RSC into IA square armature current. Then we'll get the armature copper loss as the 3180 watt. Then stray losses as calculated earlier, that is 5,837 watt. Then total losses are the armature copper loss and the stray loss sum, then we'll get the total losses as a 9,017 watt. Then motor output is calculated as the difference between the motor input and the total losses. Motor input is calculated earlier, that 33,040. Then total losses are also calculated earlier, that is 9,017. Then we'll get motor output as a 24,023 watt. Then finally the efficiency of the motor can be calculated as the motor output to the motor input. Then we'll get the efficiency of the motor as 72.7%. Then let me calculate the generator efficiency. So in this case we consider that armature copper loss, that is IA square into RA, that is nothing but 581 watt. Then series field winding copper loss, we can calculate it as the product of the series field winding drop and the armature current. So you know the series field winding current and the armature current again both are same, since we have taken the, instead of series field winding current ISC, I have taken the armature current IA. So that is equals to 40 into 56, will get the series field winding copper loss as at 2240 watt. Stray loss is calculated, that is 5,837 watt. Then total losses is the combination of the armature copper loss and the series field winding copper loss and the stray loss. Then we'll get the total losses as a 8,658 watt. Then generator output is calculated as the product of the generator voltage drop, that is terminal voltage of the generator, and the armature current. Then we'll get the generator output as 17,600 watt. Then finally we can calculate the generator efficiency as the output power to the input power. Output power is divided by that input power can be rewritten as the sum of output power and losses. Then finally we'll get the generator efficiency as a 67%. So this is about the numerical on the field test. So just to go through with these numericals on the all the test, that is the numericals on the Swinburne test, numericals on the Hopkinson test, numericals on the field test, the numericals on the retardation test. So even you can solve some more numericals on these tests, then you will get the idea about how to solve the numericals on the testing on DC motor. So in next video we'll come up with the next section of the second module, so that is 3-phase induction motor. So till then, be safe, stay at home. Thank you.